Okay, so here we are at the Stone Town Council meeting. We already have the chairman of the Stone Festival, the Stone Food and Drink Festival. We've also got Mrs. Warwick from Warwick's Fun Fairs and lots more people. We are full and it is still only 6:45, so we've got a long way to go. Also joining us tonight for the Stone consultation for Westbridge Park is Kerry Ashdown from the Stafford newsletter, who will also be reporting on the incidents throughout the night.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Could I just, on a point of response really to something that was said a little earlier, just make this comment. It was mentioned that the football pitch on Westbridge Park had not been played on for 2 years because of the damage done to it by an event that took place there. Right. Let me tell you that was 2 years ago when the Food and Drink Festival took place in torrential downpour, and we paid the Borough Council £1,600 to have that pitch reinstated. It has not yet been reinstated.
Thank you. I'm sure nervous versions were cast at our wonderful food and drink festival. I'm not speaking to the Borough Council. Now, the clerk has just reminded me.
That was not the point of my intention to speak.
Thank you. But the clerk has just reminded me that I have to formally close the council meeting. So, formally close the council meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now 20 to 9, and I'm not going to change.
Now, you listen to
One, please.
another day for another vote on this resolution that you're trying to do.
Well, I do really think you've had an awful lot of time and other people have...
Mr. Town Clerk, will you please put it right?
Yes, next meeting. For a CNA day, when the information is in.
Not it's a big meeting, no. In 8 days' time, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
I do find myself in an awkward position.
Mr. Stevens had to finish speaking.
And yet the position of the chairman is to be impartial. Now, Richard, do you want to come on something?
Yes, the point of wishing to speak was simply this, that the meeting tonight, in my view, has been slightly sidetracked by the issue of leisure facilities. We have tonight, however, had it confirmed that you will not get leisure facilities unless you agree to a supermarket. It's a simple, plain truth of economics, the one will pay for the other. So the only issue tonight is, do we want a supermarket there or not?
No.
Not on
The people in this town who have not been referred to are the traders in the town centre. And nobody has talked about what the impact would be on the town centre if we had a supermarket on Westbridge Park. And I cannot imagine how this has happened, but how can a borough council put forward proposals to build a supermarket on the outskirts of the town without carrying out an economic impact assessment on the town centre itself? Our high street is hanging on by its fingertips.
Yes.
And any transfer of trade or business to a supermarket on Westbridge Park would see the death knell of simply ask the Borough Council, before they make any further proposals, to carry out that impact assessment and to find out what the traders of this town think of a supermarket. I came here tonight hoping and praying that our elected representatives will be telling us that they're going to fight tooth and nail to keep Westbridge Park. Councillor Heenan has said, and we've heard this time and time again, these are our proposals. If we don't agree to it, an inspector will overrule us. Well, why don't Stafford Borough Council and Stone Town Council stand up on their hind legs and say, we will fight you to the hilt? Sisters from the Borough Council to say, we will represent you at the public inquiry because we believe keeping Westbridge Park Green is vital for this town. That's the best interest of Stone, not what we've heard tonight. I
I actually have only lived in Stone for 12 years, and you can tell from the dialect, I actually come from the south east, where there's lots of planning applications and lots of development, and I know they're not easy. But I've got to say, Town Council and Borough Council, at the very best, your consultation and your communication so far is shoddy. And at the worst, deceitful. Paragraph 736 of something that came out as the Stone Town Centre Capacity Assessment final report in January 2011. Let me just read you the paragraph. The Westbridge Park site offers the only edge of the centre opportunity to deliver a major supermarket that will be able to address the current overtrading identified at the existing Morrison store. Is Mr Morrison in the audience tonight to answer that? My first question is, where is the evidence? So before you answer, there is of course the Freedom of Information Act through to a judicial review to get that. So I'd like to know, and I'm sure everybody in here would like to know, where there's an overcapacity when we've got 2 Co-ops, a Marks and Spencer's, an Aldi, a Heron Foods, a Walton Stores and Select and Son. Point 1. Point 2. You said that it was about making supermarkets fun. And everybody knows that's difficult these days, there is no funding. So can I say to the Borough Plan and Regeneration Officer, if you put a supermarket on there, don't think they're only going to sell food. They're going to sell paint, they're going to sell clothes, and they're going to sell everything else. Your argument regarding bringing facilities in for housing, because if you take the amount of houses you're going to build, then I'm sure Mr Morrison will disagree over the fact that it's over capacity. I think it's good that you elected members are here tonight to listen to your electorate who put you in power at the moment. Because at the end of the day you will be held accountable for this decision, and you will be held accountable. I do think there's been a lot of talk about the borough plan, there's been a lot of talk about the leisure facilities, but let's focus on it, shall we? Thank you, Councillor Alleyne, for coming off the fence, because at the end of the day, money needs to be put in the leisure facilities down there have got to be improved. I would suggest that perhaps your consultation will look at all of the options that bring that money, and not only selling Westbridge Park. And by the way, my next question, and again Freedom of Information Act can apply, how much have you been offered to the site by the various people that have made it? That you don't know already is what it's going to bring into you, because I find that quite amazing if you do. Can I remind everybody as well that consultation is not negotiation, it's consultation. Yes. And the Prime Minister said after the Olympics, let's keep all the sports fields, it's great for our future. And this week has come out and said, well, we'll relax all the planning applications, but it's major development because it brings in jobs. So if this goes to an independent planning approval, the Whitehall Mandarin will fall one side and it won't be on our side either. If you had come tonight with some alternatives to where you're going to put the Westbridge football park and some of the green areas, if we want these extra leisure facilities and we want them jointly funded, because that's the only way they can be funded, let's be honest, and not by PFI, please. Because those who've been to PFI can't afford to put a bed in the hospital now, they won't pay the bill. If you're going to do that, then you should have come here with some alternative proposals as to where you're going to put Westbridge Park that the people of Stone could use and see an improvement. Then it might not have been so hostile. Finally, can I make one other appeal? If this does go ahead, could you do us all in Stone a favour, please? When you plan the road, could you make sure that it's got a safe, constant flow of traffic through it, and not the current Christchurch Way Morrison supermarket, positively dangerous, waste of money cock-up?
Well, do you want to respond now
You can wait till ages.
Just wondering whether you'd like a response to those questions first, otherwise... Chairman to decide, but we're going to find it difficult to keep track of all the questions and comments that have been made. There's a lot of details coming out here, but it's up to the chairman to decide. Okay. Mr. Stevens was making mention of the Borough Council coming forward with proposals for supermarket. We're not. We're not. Let me make that very clear and say again, we are not coming forward with proposals for supermarket. Okay? There's no proposal from us, and you know, it's not something that we will respond to in that respect. I mean, what happens in the planning system is that applications come forward and it's up to the applicant to provide the necessary evidence to support their application. And then as local planning authority, we'll look at that and judge it on its merits, each case on its merits, and every case is different, to judge the appropriateness and acceptability of that. Now, part of that process, as you'll know as well, is public consultation. So you will get your say again, most importantly, on any proposal that comes forward. And that will have to be reported, what's said, as part of the overall report that goes for consideration.
When will that be?
It's whenever, I don't know, madam, because we haven't actually had any proposal come forward. We know there's interest, but we can't predict and say exactly when an application will come forward, because we haven't had no firm offers.
It's a generous offer that council there. She commented it's been a very generous offer.
I can't answer for what the Stone Town Councillor said. All I can say...
It's been a generous offer.
Well, that is incorrect. Okay, let me say that is incorrect. We have had no offers made to Borough Council for Borough Council land, and we've had some pre-application consultation with one or two developers who've indicated what they would like to see happen, but no applications come forward. But what I can say is that the interest that's been shown at the moment is for out-of-town, edge-of-town development. Right, yes. Councillor Farnham has just asked me to say that the generous offer was in terms of the capital contribution that the Borough Council would put into any development
We'll accept
for the leisure facilities that you will have an opportunity to comment on. So that's quite important. I mean, we're not saying therefore. One important thing to make mention of, because we do need to go open and honest with you, I mean, this is about your future at the end of the day, isn't it? Yeah, and which you will be voting on, is that the facilities in Stafford, the facilities in Stafford, how were they paid for? Okay, that's quite important, okay, because we there, in that instance as well, we took advantage of what we have to offer there, which was council land. You remember the old leisure centre site there? Now, what happened there was that a developer came forward in that instance, and in a sense, you know, the gain for us after that was a brand new, you know, state-of-the-art facility. We wouldn't have been able to afford that on our own. It's the same situation here in Stone. But you're being asked whether that is acceptable to you or not. It may not be, and we need to hear that from you then, your view, to weigh up the pros and cons. To weigh up the pros and cons of what comes forward. But we have no proposals to put on the table here today. We've got a leisure strategy which we're going out to consult on, and that, as part of that, will identify then the options. As I mentioned before, there's no one single solution to this. Yes, there are a number of sites that could be looked at, and we need to look at all of those sites, don't we? We need to look at all the options and see which is the best for Stone going forward into the future.
Just a moment, please.
I think we've heard both members of the Borough Council and Borough officers saying that they do not wish to take away all the green area from Westbridge Park. Why then has it been necessary to include the whole of Westbridge Park as a zone for development? Why was it not possible to indicate in the borough plan those parts which were available for supermarkets to come and make proposals against and to appeal the decisions if they were refused, and show separate areas of Westbridge Park which were not zones for mixes of development?
Yes, a very good point, sir. Could you respond to that, please, Mr. Miller?
That is a very good point. Basically, we put that policy hook in there because we don't want to rule anything out or anything in at this stage, because if we did that, we'd be doing you a disservice. We need you to comment on what you would find acceptable at the end of the day. It purely comes down to that.
I believe that if that separation had been shown on the plan, then there would be a lot less hostility in the air tonight.
I accept that entirely, but you know, as I say, we don't know what's going to come forward. There are options, and we didn't want to sort of rule out any of those options which you might want to go for.
Thank you. I'd like to ask about the future that you all keep talking about, children and young people. I think we seem to have forgotten them. You quoted that we have 2,781 up to the age of 14 years. What about those 14 plus, which I'm sure we must have quite a large number of? I'd like to know how many of those. We're having 800 new homes, you tell us, in the next 20 years. How many children? Where are the children going to play? And I'd like to ask Councillor Williamson, who was adamant about his children playing, where do your grandchildren play?
In Stafford.
The children have been forgotten.
No, can I just answer you on the play? As far as Westbridge Park is concerned, as you know, there was a play area on there.
I'm talking about all children, not
yes, no, can I just give you the answer? There was a play area on Westbridge Park. It has, for various reasons, you know, we were going to do it up and so on, but we've put that on hold, awaiting this consultation. Just wait a minute. Can I just say, whatever happens as far as this process is concerned, there will be a new children's play area on Westbridge Park. And we do want, your views. As we did at Stafford, I would like to see a park there as successful as the one in Victoria Park in Stafford. And I think that there is opportunity there. It's down to you. I want to know what you want there.
What about the teenagers who gravitate from across Stowe? Westbridge Park is a common denominator for all of the outlying villages, areas of Stowe. The young people, the teenagers, gravitate there.
Well, I don't know.
Forgetting about that.
I don't know if you've seen what we've done at Victoria Park. But it is a multi-age play system, and it is very good. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we will listen as we did when we did the Victoria Park. For Westbridge Park, we would listen not only to the adults, we would listen to the children, and it was very effective. I don't know if Adam wants to just further comment on this, but it was very effective.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I can just say, in terms of play, it is very important. It's something that we are very much committed to. In the presentation that I talked about, I did talk about teenagers. I did talk about the facilities audit that we've already undertaken in 2008. We're currently renewing now to look at where that goes for the future. In terms of disability as well, we also, again, a question came earlier on, in terms of making sure that play scopes for the future, with all the new housing that is coming in over the next 20 years. Again, we need to be up and ready for that. I'm not going to look to build a play area before I have the rest of the consultation on the leisure strategy, to make sure we put it in the right place, the right facilities, for the right people.
So how are you going to consult with the children and young people then? How it is with their views, they are part of Stone.
Can I just answer that one? In terms of what we always do, and what we've used so far, we've used social media, used Facebook, Twitter, we've used all that side of things to get a different kind, whereas we don't go to the normal consultation. We've gone into the schools, we've gone into the community, we go into the social services in terms of their remit, we go into the disabilities. So we do a heavy consultation, but we also do it with the children, not just the adults, because in fairness, most of the adults don't know really what the children want.
I'm here today to prove to you that actually young people count. You've completely overruled us on everything. Westbridge Park is our only green area apart from Tilling Drive. It's outside of Stone. Why can't you just listen to us now? I'm on behalf of so many children in schools around Stone. Listen to us. We want our Westbridge Park. We don't want a supermarket for the future. All we want is our Westbridge Park to stay as it is. You're on about the future, well, listen to us. We don't want it. We want our green space of land for all our lives. In 20 years' time, you probably won't be here still, but we still want our land.
That makes me no less passionate about the area here. I've also spent the last 28 years negotiating with the major multiple retailers. What I ask the Borough Council is, if I think you're right, basically what you're saying is there's no plans for a supermarket, would you expect them to use their typical bully boy tactics with the big bucks to come in and force it through?
Yes.
I think we have to be a bit pragmatic about that. But what I would ask the council is, you guys, frankly, are amateurs at dealing with those guys. I do it day in, day out for major companies. I know what they're like. Has the council got a strategy to get the most out of it that could be creative and say, actually, for those independents in Stone Town Centre, and I use the word independence, not cost of coffee. The independents, can you negotiate a 5-year business rate freeze for them? Let's be creative, let's be thoughtful. For a major supermarket, you're a little bit of extortion and I'll laugh at it. I know how much profit they made. Also, when you look at a sensible supermarket, unlike Alleyne, which typically employs 6 to 10 people with the profits whistling off to Germany.
Yes.
Yeah. You could ask them, I don't know where you picked it up, their corporation tax payments are frighteningly low in the UK, because it goes to debt and development in the US. Tesco are also very adept at moving money around. If you're going to go for Waitrose, because they are an extremely large employer. They have a lot of people. And also, when you get a job with Waitrose, the share of that profit goes into your salary at the end of the year, which stays in stone. They also have a real policy of supporting little businesses. So let's be pragmatic. Nobody wants to build small format stores. I don't work for Waitrose. I see them from the inside, day in, day out. My worry is, you guys will see Tesco come with a big checkbook out of Chesney and bully their way in. And the last thing we need is Tesco and Stone.
One more question and then you can come back. I know you've been waiting a long time.
What are the county council going to be doing then about the infrastructure in and around Stone if there's all these plans that might happen, might not happen, and we know there's lots of bottlenecks in Stone, particularly that monstrosity that's caused backups all the way through to Morrison's. But what, I've heard nothing at all in this presentation about the county council and the infrastructure of Stone.
Mr. Manager, would you like to
Yeah, I shall do my best. I'm not here to comment about the sort of morals or working practice of supermarkets. That's not a planning consideration, much as maybe, but nationally it isn't, and nationally we are directed that we must look at planning considerations, and be that as it may, it's not one of those considerations. One of the things I hear time and time again, though, is we'd love Waitrose in Stone. Yeah. And that's what I hear. That's what I hear time and time again. We can't direct who comes into Stone. We have to be reactive to that. Okay, so we can't say to Waitrose, it would be their business decision whether they consider Stone to be an appropriate place to invest. So we'll have to look at that. Highway infrastructure, yes, very good point. And again, the local plan outlines the infrastructure needs of Stone, and significant consultations taking place with the county council as the local highway authority, because we want to be reassured that whatever comes forward can actually happen without us getting gridlock. So we are reliant on them. And again, just to link back to the point that the first gentleman made, we don't have all the expertise in the Borough Council, and we have a small team in the forward planning department, but what we do is go out and purchase that expertise where we don't have it ourselves. And the evidence base, which we made mention of, all of which, as I say, is on our website, all the documents there are publicly available, all been done by external consultants who have had to tender for the work. So we wouldn't just gone to one, we've had to go out under our procedures and seek the best price and the best response to the brief that we've written on that one. And that really comes down as well to the question that was raised about how we're going to undertake the public consultation for the leisure strategy going forward. And I have to say at this stage, we don't know exactly what form that will take. The report that has been going through the Borough Council is seeking that expertise externally, because we don't have the capacity and the skill set entirely within the Borough Council to deliver that. So we are seeking some support from experts who've done this elsewhere to come up with proposals to us of how they are going to ensure that everyone gets a fair voice, has their say, and how we digest that and make it, so that we get a clear message one way or the other from Stone and the surrounding villages.
Is that going to be the same 119 people?
Well, hang on a minute. Hang on. The lady there, gentleman here, then the gentleman at the back, and the gentleman over there. So could you please keep your questions fairly brief, because we've got to be out of here in about half an hour.
Just one short thing.
Yes.
We are not all on the internet. We are not on all our www. So therefore, we've got to find another way of contacting us.
Yes, I agree.
Could I just make a suggestion to the gentleman? Before he goes out and gets some experts in, I'd just like to make a suggestion to him. If he wants to consult the people of Stone, what I would do is rent this all, fill it full of the residents of Stone, and ask their opinion, whether they want that might save you a bit of money, because you've got your public consultation pretty much here. And after your public consultation, and you come back and you say that post that consultation, there is a general consensus in Stone that a supermarket will be allowed on Westbridge Park. Do you think that'll be credible?
Yes.
I'd like to thank the Town Council for allowing the people of Stone to have their say, and I'd also like to commend those councillors who have really fought to put the concerns to the forefront and in the public domain, and I think we should commend them. One And the site earmarked for housing is off the actual road. And I just cannot see how you can improve the infrastructure. The problems in Eccleshall Road are horrendous, and also down towards the roundabout and the garage. And I just can't see how you can possibly contemplate putting a major housing development off the Eccleshall Road. I think it's unfeasible.
I never come out.
Chris from Aston Little Soap Club Group is now presenting a poster about Westbridge Park.
Oggy, oggy, oggy. I'd just like to reiterate the young person's views at the back. As you can see, I'm a scout. Our cubs went to the council chambers to have a look round with Harry. And one of them said, "We've heard the story about Westbridge Park, what's happening?" And 2 or 3 of them are really desperate to find out what was happening. So at a cub meeting a few weeks ago, we asked them to put everything down. And you want to see some of these comments from Cub Scouts from 8 to 11. Nothing to do with us. We just did the handprints and they did the rest. Save our park. Hands off Westbridge Park. Dog walking. Stone Festival. The steeplechase that they all take part in. Save our park. You will destroy the animals, habitats, and properly kill them. Oh. No bonfire night. Yeah, I need to say anymore.
I'll receive it on behalf of the council. Thank you very much. Now, lady over there.
What I think you've all got to do here, all you people who've come here to protest, is look at the fact that there is going to be a supermarket somewhere in Stone, hopefully not on Westbridge. What I think you're going to have to do between now and when the consultation comes up, and hopefully the consultation will be made more public, because it really hasn't been made public what's been going on in the past, look at where the supermarket can go. Don't keep arguing with them over the fact that it's not going to happen at Westbridge Park. It's going to happen somewhere. Yeah. So make sure you say where you want it to happen. Identify an alternative location. Then they can sell whatever they've got to sell to the supermarket, have the money off them, and do the facilities. Because that's how it's going to work. So don't keep arguing with them over Westbridge Park. They know we don't want it. If they do it, they do it, and sadly we're going to be mown over. But for now, do what you can to protest, but protest sensibly and come up with an alternative place. That's your best option.
For once, since Alfred Ray was in on, we stopped in 1975 and we finished in 2000. When Tesco opened in London, absolutely killed the town. If you want to go down to London, go and have a look for yourself.
Has the council considered protecting Westbridge Park by declaring it a village green? Yes. I'm sure that's an action, something that we could do.
The gentleman in front of you.
Surely, even a gibbering idiot could work out that there is no enthusiasm for a supermarket in Westbridge Park. So where are we going with it now? Has the borough got the general drift that there is a lack of enthusiasm? Are they taking that away tonight? Have we made it plain enough to you all?
I think you've made it absolutely perfectly clear that there is very little amnesia here or anything like that on Westbridge Park.
But will you act on it?
Not so long ago, we had, well, in fact, at the printing restaurant, we've got the same amount of swings inside as we had 40 years ago. But then we had another little area that was for young children up to age 10. And then all of a sudden, we went along to this area, yes, it was great. And then one day, we walked along there.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Where is it? You would want to be where is it? And I'll tell you why. It's because Stafford Borough Council did not maintain it and it dropped the bits in front of your eyes.
Very brief question. When we start the consultation process, what areas of Stafford Borough will be included in the consultation? Is it just Stone, or is it Eccleshaw, Ilderston, Arthur Stafford?
We'll come to that in a moment.
I'm really concerned about the environmental issues here, because on your plan is an environmental corridor. We talk about sustainability. The first discussion is all about climate change. You breathe on what's going to happen over the next 50 years. We're getting more and more flow. It's going to affect the whole movement of water, even the course on the river. I'm just concerned really about the fact that it's a floodplain, and the reason why it's a green space is because it floods. And I just wonder really, who would pay for the actual schemes that would stop this? Because it's going to be very expensive to turn that into perhaps a supermarket.
Okay. Could you like to respond to those questions?
I'll answer some of them, and then maybe my colleagues might like to answer the other ones. I'm really pleased actually that the Scout leader there brought forward that piece of work that the young people have done, because that's exactly the sort of thing we need, with the voice of those young people. But I think we owe it to those young people as well to make sure that they have the information as well to make those choices. And I think it's rather, if we don't, I think it's a bit patronising. I think I honestly do, because they can make their choices, but they need the information like anyone else does. So it's really important that they are provided as part of the consultation with the information so that they can make their minds up. And I think the sort of thing you brought forward there is exactly the sort of thing we ought to be doing to try and tease out the views of young people. We need to look at a number of different ways. And certainly, yes, not everyone's on the internet. We can't rely on that. That would be completely wrong, wouldn't it? We need to have a whole range of different means of engaging with people. So, as I said before, so that everyone has an opportunity to comment, that nobody feels that they've been disadvantaged at all by not making their views known.
Young people are switched on, really are. Young people today.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They are indeed. And they've got an important voice, and it's down to, we must listen to what they have to say.
I think 7,500 people already in Stoke made that point.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to any more consultations. The people of Stoke.
But I don't know, as you've had the opportunity to, for instance tonight, more information has come forward, and there's more information yet still to come out through the consultation. And I know you'll want to hear all of that before finally making up your minds as to which way you want to vote on this. That's quite important, isn't it?
What areas are included in the consultation?
I do apologise, yes, that was a question I overlooked, and I'm glad you reminded me. I made mention in the presentation earlier on that Stone has a really important role to play as a market town. It services quite a significant area around it. So we want to make sure that all those villages around here have a say as well, because they're likely to be using, as they do already, the facilities that are here in Stone. We won't be going out and asking people of Stafford. It's not their question.
Can I just pick up the point in terms of the play area, which was asked about? Why was it removed? For those that have used it, it was a wooden play facility which has a life. We did maintain it, we have a weekly inspection, it was maintained. It got to the end of its life, we had to remove it. Health and safety said we had to remove it. It's unfortunate, and I'd rather not have removed it, but we did. What you have heard from the leader is there is a commitment to that, and we have the funds already available, that we will do on the back of the leisure strategy. I'm not going to rush it through. We've got a leisure strategy coming. We also, what we have learned is that in terms of Victoria Park, we've engaged not just with the adults, but with the children. And as has already been mentioned at the back, it was important the whole of Victoria Park, in terms of its design structure, what was in, the facilities that were available, came on the back of what the users, the actual users, wanted us to put in. And we would do the same with any of the other facilities that we have. We want to engage with them. They can help with the design, they can help with the structuring of it, and they can certainly help with consultation. And we will follow the same method again in the future.
There's just one answer to all this. If you don't sell the land, they can't build the supermarket. If the land is sold, then there's something going on, because you cannot sell council land to anybody.
And you're letting us down to sell it.
Right, I think we've got time for just two last questions. These will be questions from people who have not answered questions.
Right, I don't need my opinion because I feel so very, very strongly about this. I've lived in Stoke 35 years, and although you're listening, you're not hearing. What we have at Westbridge Park is precious, and it is not negotiable. No one can negotiate that away from me. And I'm fighting tooth and nail not to develop that in any way.
Stafford, yes, great. You provide access for disabled children to go to the play area. Then what? There's not even a little roundabout where we can push my little grandson onto. There is nothing. So when you bring these facilities to Stoke, will you please remember the minority and look after our disabled children as well as our able-bodied, please?
Yes.
Just want to thank the officers, because they are not elected. They work for the council. They work for the Borough Council. They have to do their dirty work. And somebody said, as a chair, that it wasn't about party politics. Town council had a little bit of spat there, party politics. But it really is about party politics, because believe me, I bet the poll tax, or whatever we call it now, will not go up. I bet they take the credit and the claim for that when it comes to election time, because they're going to sell this land, this crown jewels of Stone. And they'll take the credit for that. Somebody said here about play parks not being rebuilt. They'll do it before the election, so they'll get back in and sell the next crown jewel, which will be the schools.
We'll have one final question, but please put it beyond the plan. No.
I'd like to make a point. I've been sitting here listening to the comments and observing, I've been observing the town council and watching body language and the facial expressions. I think the town council needs to remember that they represent our views and not their personal views.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'm now going to ask the leader of the Borough Council to summarise his position on this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've had a very, at times, challenging debate, have we not, tonight, about what is going on. And all I can say in conclusion is basically no decisions have been made. No offers have been accepted. Nothing has been agreed. That is why we are going out to you to consult you as to what you want in Stone. Now, if, let us just say, if there is to be no supermarket on Westbridge Park, it is still very important that you do enter the consultation and say what you do require. Some of it may be possible, some of it may not because of funding and so on. But at least, if we're going to do this job properly, we do want you to come back to us. I hope, have always been considered an honourable person. When I say this to you, I mean it. I will listen absolutely to the consultation and what it produces. It will not be hidden away. It will not be pushed under the carpet. There is no side deals. And to the gentleman who was talking about the council tax and making quite a political comment himself, I will say to him, all the money, if we were to have a supermarket, all the money would be ploughed into the leisure schemes. So it isn't a question of us having a windfall to alter the council tax. The council tax, we have that relatively under control. We have the council tax under control. If we build a leisure scheme, we won't have it under control. It's as simple as that. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying to you is this. You've got now the chance to have your say in the consultation. Do that. We will listen. We will listen hard, and I think there's going to be a lot of talking over the next few months. So please do that. I'm sure that you will find that we will listen to what you have to say. I think you're cynical about that, but don't. Please don't. I think you're cynical, but please don't be. We do listen. And I hope at the end of all this, we can have the best outcome we can possibly have for Stone, because that is what we're here for. I'm not elected to give you things you don't want. I'm not elected to give you ropey facilities. I'm here to do the best I can for Stone, for the rest of the borough. That's my duty. And I will exercise that duty to the best of my ability, along with the team of officers and many of the other councillors who make up the Borough Council. That is what we do, and we will not let you down, I can assure you of that. Thank you, Chairman.
Well, I think we've had that question answered. In the new year. Thank you very much for your patience. We've had a very full, frank and candid discussion with the Borough Council. I look forward to a meaningful consultation on the issues